Namaskar and welcome to Delhi Thinkers Dialogue. Today, the title of our discussion is Deculturalization of the Northeast region in India. I have to say that Delhi Thinkers Dialogue is absolutely honored to have some of the finest scholars and thinkers from three different states in the region today. From Arunachal Pradesh, we have Mr. Pai Dave, the president of the Nishi Indigenous Faiths and Cultural Society. Mr. Dave is also the Prancha Pramukh of the Vivekanand Kendra in Arunachal Pradesh. He is also very well known for composing a number of very popular Nishi songs. He has produced and directed short films and video albums in Nishi, and finally, he is also, apart from doing all of this, he is also a member of the Art of Living. So without much ado, I would like to begin with Mr. Pai Dave. Mr. Dave, welcome to Delhi Thinkers Dialogue. I am so pleased that you could join us today. Mr. Dave, I'd like to begin this conversation by asking you to shed some light on the present day scenario and what does deculturalization really mean in the context of Arunachal Pradesh to you?
Good evening, Ramiji. As far as deculturalization is concerned, Arunachal Pradesh, especially Arunachal Pradesh, is a region where rapidly this deculturalization is taking place. There may be a lot of factors may be there which attribute to the degradation or deculturalization. But importantly, there are three factors which is the most influential for the deculturalization or degradation of culture in this region, especially in Arunachal Pradesh. One is lack of documentation. In Arunachal Pradesh, there are, as you may be knowing, there are 26 major tribes and 124 sub-tribes. And except Buddhism, all the tribes, they don't have the scripts. Therefore, they don't have the documentation of their tradition and culture. So these tradition and culture knowledge are being passing orally from generation to generation. So because of that, at some point of time, somewhere down the line, this gets diluted and it attributes to the deculturalization or degradation of the culture, we may say. And the second point is the advancement of the modernity. Because of the advancement of the modernity, our people, those younger generation, they don't no more stay in the village with the parents or with the elders. They go out abroad or across the country in pursuit to their career, and they stay in the urban areas. So this tradition of passing orally is abruptly disconnected with the modern, this young generation. So the young generation, they are not connected with the villagers or the elders who has the treasures or of this tradition, knowledge of tradition and culture. So they are much towards to the modern culture and they adopt the westernization and all. Most important factor is most important factors of this deculturalization or degradation is the influence of the missionaries. In Arunachal Pradesh, missionaries came in 1920, but they have been very actively since 1970. From 1970 onwards, they have been very active. And these missionaries, along with them, they have come with the three things. One is education and health, and the third is religion. It's fair enough for any civilization, any human society. These three things are very much needed. But unfortunately, in return of these three things, they have taken everything from us. They have destroyed the basic fabric social structure of this indigenous tribal people of Arunachal Pradesh. Our ancestors, we never had any differences in the name of faith, in the name of religion. But because of the influence of missionaries, because of the influence of this westernization, now our people, they are swearing on each other in the name of religion, in the name of the faith. This is very unfortunate, and this is the main degradation the cultural is taking place. And we never, in our tradition and culture, we never had a culture of destroying the other belief, destroying other faiths. Rather, we encourage and we help other culture, other faiths to grow and to prosper. But today we are observing that we are destroying each other faiths. Recently, you might be knowing, it was in the national news also. These the mercenary people, they have burned down these altars and the pictures of our god and indigenous god and goddesses, and it has god hue and cry in the states. In this process, they are creating a hatredness among these societies. So this is the reason of the degradation and deculturalization taking place. Our ancestors never had like this. We are the inclusive nature of faiths. We respect each other's religion. We respect each other cultures. But because of the influence of these mercenaries and because the influence of the westernization, these things has been completely changed in Arunachal Pradesh.
Thank you, Mr. Dave. But to ask you a follow-up question, as you said, that the influence of the missionaries comes through education, health, and religion. So would it be correct to say that education and health aid regarding to these areas is only provided if the tribals are converting to Christianity or if they promise to convert? Is it charity for the sake of charity?
It's a sake of the charity. The values, whatever the values they taught in the schools, they taught in their education. It's not the values what we learn, what we are taught in our culture and tradition. And there are many students, those who have been benefited of these missionary schools after graduating and after passing from this institution. They start hating our own tradition and culture. This is the biggest problem that the education they are providing. Other education, if you see the Vivekananda Kendra, Ramakrishna Mission and all, in the education, there are lot many officers are there. They have produced maximum officers has been produced by the Vivekananda Kendra in Arunachal Pradesh. But you will see none of those officers, they are against the culture, against their own tradition and culture. But the student and the officers or those who have been graduated from the missionaries school, they are against the tradition and culture, indigenous tradition and cultures. From there, we see that those education are just for the sake of charity or just for the sake of to attract those innocent indigenous people, tribal people.
Correct. Mr. Dave, could you also shed some light for our audience? As you know that a lot of the central media does not cover the Northeast so much. So a lot of our audience may not know about the indigenous faiths in Arunachal Pradesh, especially your tribe. Could you shed some light on your tribe, your faith, and how has the Nishi tribe resisted this sort of predatory influence? And also, I would like to, I know that there are some, there are not some, but actually quite a few larger Hindu civilizational references in Arunachal Pradesh. So, for example, there is the Parshuram Kund. Could you shed some light on this sort of civilizational link?
Yeah, actually, this Nabi Nishi, indigenous Nishi people, our belief is inclusive in nature.
Correct.
Our faith is inclusive in nature. We believe omnipresence of the God. That's the reason why we revere or we worship the nature and the 5 elements of the universe, because we believe that in every living being there is a God. And this is the same philosophy that we find in the Vedanta, the Ekam Satya Vipra Bahuda Vedanti, we find in the Vedanta, we find in this Sanatan. Actually, we feel that Nishi, with the Nishi tribes, our faith is the means actual way of the Sanatan Dharma. We are practicing practical. We are practicing the Sanatan Dharma philosophy. So in that case, we are very much akin to the Hindu religion, and in our olden days, our elders and we also still I remember we come down from the village and we celebrate Dasera, Diwali with with a lot of enthusiasm and devotion. But because of this influence of this Christianity, as soon as the Christianity came into active in this area, this has been decreasing. Now people are not no more they are celebrating Dasera, no more celebrating Vishwakarma Puja. Even though some section of the people, even if they celebrate, the majority of the people get irritation and they lodge a lot many complaints. So what our indigenous people in these Nishi indigenous people we believe is we are very much akin to the Hindu culture, Hindu tradition. Though our the food habits, our looks, our lifestyles may be different, but the core belief, the core values of the culture that is exactly same with the Sanatan Dharma philosophy and the Hindu Dharma philosophy. That's why we believe ourselves, particularly the indigenous people of this area, believe that we are of the same of the Sanatan Dharma and we are same to the Hindu culture. And for us, this as far as our this tradition, we are getting a lot of. I mean, there are division is taking place now in our society because of this Christianity. Every issues are being looking in the prism of faith, and majority is the Christian now, and they are dominating. So now the society which have been living in a very peaceful and congenial atmosphere, but because of these faiths, now there is restlessness is there, hatredness is there. This is a very means worrisome for the states and worrisome for the us, but still we indigenous people they are surviving with the help of this many organization, our sister organization, they are helping us. And we are now our people also many intellectual peoples they are coming out, and the youths are coming out for the preservation of the tradition and cultures. They are doing the research, they are interpreting our these folklores and folk tales. Recently we have conducted online folk tales where many intellectual people, many youth have participated, and many have appreciated these initiatives. In that way, these indigenous now people are realizing the importance of our indigenous cultures, and they are coming out. And we hope that in days to come, definitely they will begin. They will work more for this preservation of the tradition and culture, and definitely we will able to establish our faith more strong in this region.
Absolutely. I'm sure with the kind of scholarly work that is coming out of Arunachal Pradesh, the kind of leaders that are coming out of Arunachal Pradesh, I think, very swiftly it's leaving a mark on not just India, but the rest of the world. But to ask you just a few more questions, sir, I would want to know what I had read these very alarming statistics about in the 1970s, beginning of 1970s, the converted people being at around 0.7%, and today there are estimates that in 2020 it's almost 40%. Is this true? Number one. And if this is true, how many from your tribe do you think have been converted and have left their indigenous practices?
Yes, exactly, Remiji. During 1952, there was no single Christian was there in the 50s. But now at present, exactly as you said, it's now around 40%. And particularly our tribe, Nishi tribe, is the largest tribe in Arunachal Pradesh. We consist of 1/3 population of the states. And unfortunately, 60% of our tribes, particularly Nishi tribes, they have converted into the Christian. they have denounced the ancestral faith. This is a very alarming situation in our states. But as I said, we are trying for that, and we are very much optimistic about that. And many people are, even the government, they have created this Department of Indigenous Affairs to look after the indigenous faith and culture. But still, we have there is some lacking on that because of the because of the new department. There is no concrete plan and program for the preservation of the indigenous culture, tradition, and culture. But we hope that these things will be sorted out, and we will work for that.
Correct. So, my last question to you is: do you see the anti-conversion law in Arunachal Pradesh being effective, or are there implementation issues? Because I remember there was a statement also made by your chief minister a couple of months ago saying that they would revoke the anti-conversion law. So what are your views on that, and where do you see the problems in its effectiveness?
Yes, this is very unfortunate that during 1978 they have adopted or enacted one act called Arunachal Pradesh Freedom of Religion Act during 1978. But since it is 43 years, they have not implemented. We have not seen, since 43 years, we have not seen any person who have been booked or who have been taken action because of this act. Though they have committed a lot many things, as I have said, they have burned down the altars, burned down the indigenous god and goddesses. But though they have these laws, this act, but they have not taken any action against. This has need to be make a very strong and relevant. And recently you have rightly said, recently our chief minister also had proposed to repeal this law, and there was a hue and cry from our indigenous people, and we have launched the protest. We have made the chief minister also regarding this. This need to be strengthened instead of repealing. And we have actually, to be very frank, we expected lot many things from this government, particularly the BJP government from the center or the state, being a pro-indigenous faith government. We expected a lot, but as of now, they have not taken, they are not doing up to the expectation for us, particularly for the indigenous people. So we have submitted a lot many proposals regarding this. We have appealed to the government, also central government, also state government, also to strengthen this Arunachal Pradesh Freedom of Religion Act, and to bring an anti-conversion law in the center and as well as in a state. The difficulty is in implementing. There is a difficulty in implementing is that, as I said, majority is the Christian in Arunachal Pradesh. Even after all, those policy makers, the lawmakers, they are a politician. They are afraid. They always want for the vote. They are looking for the votes only. So even if they think for the indigenous people, even these our chief minister, they are he is very much interested for the indigenous, preserving the indigenous people, indigenous culture, indigenous faiths. But their cabinets, their ministers, their MLAs, and the people, those who have voted them, the majority is the Christian. So they are restraining themselves. They are reluctant to take a bold step or an aggressive step towards the preserving the indigenous faith and the culture. This is the one thing it's worrying us, particularly for the indigenous people. So we need a certain leader, we need certain political party who irrespective of seeing the voters or seeing the powers, who think for the indigenous people, and we hope that in future this may change, and our leader may listen to us, and our leader may understand our problem, and they also now also they understand, but because of the certain circumstances, because the majority of the people, they are succumb to the pressure, that's why they are not implementing this law also, they are not making it in the strong enough.
Correct. Thank you so much, Mr. Dave, for that enlightening session. I think you have put a lot of basics of this issue in context for us. And I think you brought something very important to light, which is political will. You know, the importance of political will to preserve and maintain our indigenous way of life. Thank you so much.